what everybody expected. They were right around 1% to 2% for African American and Latinos in an entire company. That there's a racial issue there. There's a bias issue that needed to be addressed. And so when Google did that, the rest of the companies came forward, and then all of a sudden diversity in tech became a big concern, and people started to put a little bit more energy into it and millions of dollars into the problem. Now we're here in 2017, and they released their numbers again, and as you could probably guess, those numbers haven't changed much. So there is an issue, and my I'm going to be quiet here in just a second, but my thought process is this. You know, Google, I'm using them as an example because I happen to be friends with the folks at Google, and they have done an incredible job of investing in diversity here locally. Then it's because they know they have a problem, and they also understand that with diversity comes a higher bottom line. They'll actually make more money. It's been proven that you make more money when you have diverse leadership. So they're trying to solve for it. But here's how I think you need to solve for it, and this is why Durham is doing so well, is that you have to focus on diversity when your company is smaller. You have to think about hiring and creating companies with Black founders who start businesses and support them financially with venture capital money and angel money. You got to do that at the beginning when the team is like 1 or 2 people. Because once you get to the size of Google that has thousands of people, it's really hard to turn that ship. It's really hard to turn it around and say, in 2 years, we're going to change our numbers, because the corporate philosophy just hasn't been built properly. So what we're doing in Durham, long story short, is we're working with small companies, working with Black founders, and building the companies right from the beginning and helping to ensure a good company culture. And hopefully those companies will become as big as Facebook, right? But instead of seeing a white Facebook, you're going to see a very diverse Facebook that has Black leadership. And if we can do that one time, then I feel confident we can do it 100 times. So we're working on the one.
Yeah, definitely. You're doing a great job of working on that one. Now, the one thing that I was going to ask you, Jessica, real quick, and you brought it up to some degree, is, you know, we talked about Charlottesville and we talked about the alt-right and what's going on with there. One of the things is that when that gentleman was fired from Google recently because of his statements and everything, he's now become sort of the alt-right darling, because they're basically like, wait a minute, that's what we told you was going on. That that's a case of reverse discrimination or whatever other terms that they want to use and everything. And I was just wondering, if somebody that knows that culture, what your reaction was when you were seeing that kind of happening in the country after he released that kind of statement and then became recently that they're kind of darling.
Yeah, what Mark's referring to is just a guy who's a computer science, a staff person at Google who released a blog internally about women. And women in tech is a whole other issue, which it's similar, but it's different. And basically disparaged women in tech and said they had no place in technology and really weren't as competent. And so that person obviously went under a lot of fire. This is all of a week ago, about 10 days ago. Maybe it was just a week ago. I think that's I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised when you have hate groups. Well, and so what were we saying here? 917 hate groups. I had to write it down because I was shocked. I don't know why I was shocked, but 917 hate groups. It's no wonder that when you see someone who is vocal about their hatred and bigotry on a corporate level get national press, that they're going to be the darling of those hate groups. I mean, that is exactly what they're looking for, is somebody who can be outspoken and be public. I always go back to this. I think that leadership, and so I'm the executive director of Leadership Triangle now, and so I'm always thinking about leadership. I feel like I'm trying to be a student of leadership and read as much as possible. But the one thing it boils down to for me is that leadership is hard and it's inconvenient. And what I saw our president do this weekend was make leadership easy and convenient for himself. And I think it's shameful. So, when it matters, it's hard and it's inconvenient. And he didn't, right? He didn't rise to the challenge. He didn't take the mantle. He knew better, and his grandkids are Jewish, for God's sakes. I mean, what more does it take? If the black cause doesn't shake you up, fine, okay. then let's talk about the neo-Nazis that are talking about Jews. Like, where's your leadership? Because you are the leader of this entire country, not just a small fraction. And that's really all I have to say about that. It's pretty disappointing. Even with his statement earlier today, it's just a cleanup crew, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah. Definitely. So there was definitely a lot of cleanup in terms of what they were trying to do and things of that nature. The other lady that was there in her, I believe it was fiance, if I remember correctly, and y'all have the Crimson, is it called the Crimson Chronicle?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, are you still there, Beverly?
Yes, we're actually right here still.
Hey, how's it going, Beverly? Glad that y'all are still with us. I was wondering what y'all's take of the whole what was going on with both our president's leadership, both on the Charleston matter as well as on what's going on on the international scene with what's happening with North Korea and Guam. But what y'all's take on what he's doing in terms of those respectives are? I'd like to hear y'all's opinion on that.
Well, only thing I really don't be in politics like that, but the only thing really stand out with me in Senator Donald Trump when he said, "Go and hit him. If you hit him, I'll bail you out." That's the only thing he said in my mind right now when he said we got a president actually condoning violence towards people of color, well, black people, because they're definitely talking about us, black people. So that's the only thing my take on that. I don't. The other part was kind of lost on that because, like I said, I'm not in politics like that.
Gotcha. So, Jessica, if folks are interested in getting involved with Google in terms of trying to reach out and try to develop their own platforms and things of that nature, what are some of the platforms that they can use to, if they've got like their own tech companies or their own platforms that they're interested in developing, what are some of the new initiatives that are out there that you're aware of that they can be involved in?
Yeah, first, before I maybe give a few thoughts on that, I'd like to just say generally across the board that if you have any interest in being in tech, this is the time to do it. Like, if you are thinking about learning how to code, that's the new, next language, right? Every child is going to know how to code in the next 10 years. That'll just be part of the standard curriculum. And in many countries already is, so we're behind there. But you can literally change the trajectory of your family. If you're at middle class level, then you'll be upper middle class if you are able to code and get into a tech job. If you're if you're at minimum wage level, you'll be able to move up to upper middle class. It's just really that simple when you go into tech fields. We have people who have gone through a 12-week coding course and then have gotten close to a six-figure job after 12 weeks. You can't even do that when you go to college. When you go to college, you're left with, tens of thousands of dollars in school loans, likely, like I was. And I left school I was making under $50,000 a year. You can go through a 12-week course in coding, and you can leave making, on average right now, the national average for tech computer science is $70,000. And that's a game changer for people. That's in benefits. $70,000 is the benefits, right? Because I was looking for my benefits. So you can change people's lives. You could change generational lives. I always equate tech right now, I'm equating it to, I'm from Ohio originally, so, it's where all the automobile parts and, we're real close to Detroit. So it's Detroit and Ohio that was working GM and Johns Manville. And that was the big job, right? Everybody who had that job was making really good money, was making overtime. You know how it was. We did all of that, and we were living pretty good life. That's not the case anymore. The GMs, they're still around, but it's not the easy flow job that you don't have to go to college for. In this case, I feel like coding and tech is the replacement for those jobs that we traditionally relied on 20 years ago. So if I could encourage anybody who's listening and the folks that who are co-hosting today to just think about and to share is, if we've got some young people who have an aptitude for math or science, even if they're told they don't, which oftentimes they are told that, to just be curious and to just think about it a little bit more. Maybe, go online. Google.com does have some online free sample coding opportunities for kids. And just go on and kind of search that out. and get them curious, because it literally can change families' lives. And once we have, when we move our community into a different wealth status, that's when we can start to give back to our communities in ways exponentially that matter. And that's part of our problem, right, is that we don't have the wealth base to be able to continually reinvest in our communities, and this is one way we can do that. For those of us who are adults that are interested in starting a company or going into tech, the two platforms that I would recommend is one that's local here in Durham. It's called Black Wall Street. I'm a co-founder of that, but we put together an event every October, so it's coming up in the next couple of weeks, October 10 through 13, where we teach you. We do hold workshops, and we bring venture capitalists in, people who have been successful in this industry, and we mentor you. I mean, Durham's full will be crawling with like Black folks who are in the tech community making a lot of money, folks who are trying to make some money, folks who have great ideas but just need some support. That's this week is going to be about, and we're also going to party and have some concerts and all of that stuff. It's a good time. So Black Wall Street, and you can go to Black Wall Street Homecoming or bwshomecoming.com to check that out. And on the West Coast, it's a very similar platform. It's called Afrotech, and it's the same thing. It's the same movers and shakers in the industry who will be there to help support and guide for a few days and get people on the right track. And I always welcome one-on-one conversations too. So I know you all have the online platform. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I always welcome that, because I think it's important that we support each other. And this field is a little bit unlocked, or is a little bit locked. It's locked. So, when you have somebody who kind of knows people in the industry, you've got to start to share that. So I'm happy to have one-on-ones or provide information online for your folks.
Definitely appreciate that, Jessica. One of the other things that I was really curious, and I was hoping that you can share some of the success stories, is Black Wall Street, is this its second year coming up, or the third year? I've lost track. I'm sorry about that.
Year 3. Yep, that's okay. Well, we've had two years. Yeah, now we're on year 3. Yep.
Out of those 2 years, could you tell us some of the success stories? Because I know there's been some tremendous success stories about some of these businesses. Because y'all do that whole pitch thing, if I remember correctly, where they actually get to pitch some of their ideas in front of some people and get to walk away with some pretty nice checks to start their businesses. Mm-hmm. And I just wondered if you could share some of those success stories.
Yeah, quickly normally we do about 2 pitch events every year during this week, and we'll have somewhere in the range of 10 to last year we had over 30 people pitch their businesses. And so this is, it's cool because the bottom line is that when you start a company, you're solving for a problem, right? That's been the way it's been forever and always, especially Black folks. We solve for our own problems, and we're able to create wealth out of that because we were trying to figure out how to make things better for our communities. And so you'll see at this event where a lot of the companies are focusing on Black community issues, not exclusively. A lot of them are mainstream, which is great too. But you'll also see that there's a welcome space, like a soft landing. And you also have an audience that understands that when you're talking about the school-to-prison pipeline and you have a company that's trying to help address, folks in the school-to-prison pipeline and helping and supporting families, you don't have an audience that's looking at you with a blank stare like, I don't understand that. What does that mean, school-to-prison pipeline? It doesn't affect us. Instead, you have an audience that's like, I totally get that, and I'll worry about that too. And they're more interested in funding a project like that because it solves for a problem that we all understand. So we've had lots of people come through. Winners of our pitch competitions can win somewhere around $5,000 at the lowest. So last year we had folks who won over $25,000 in investment dollars. And not only that, but they're also getting the opportunity to work with venture capitalists afterwards to help their companies get a little bit stronger and hopefully get those big dollars. And when I mean big dollars, I mean like $500,000 to $1 million as early seed capital.
So, Dean, you heard her. You've had these tech ideas for yours for a while, so this is an opportunity for you to come down to Durham and to pitch your ideas.
Hey,
thank you, Mark.
You know what? I wish I had some ideas in tech, but this old brain will have to sit down and think of some. Yeah.
I know you got some in there. I know you got some. Just think about it. Bring them my way.
Okay. Okay then.
Okay, I'm here. Doors open.